Hi, everybody. I'm Elliot, and I am so excited you are joining us for this live Stellar Quest Series 5 all about Soroban. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome, and it's definitely going to be interesting. I am so excited. We have put together a pioneer quest kind of to help you get oriented to all the things that we're going to ask you to do over the next few weeks. And so I want to quickly just show you what some of those tools that we've made available are and guide you through kind of how you can take part and how you can participate in our Soroban quest. So if we go to GitHub, you can see here that I am in the Pioneer quest. And what I'm going to do actually is open up a Gitpod with this repository directly inside of this new workspace environment. And what Gitpod is, if you haven't used it before, it's built on Docker containers, and it's like a fresh, brand new workspace that you can work inside of. It's pre-configured with all the tools that you need, with all of the programs and files, and the whole repository is pre-populated just so that you can have a fresh start to your development workflow every time you spin up a new workspace. So our workspace in Gitpod has finally finished its spin up, loading, compiling, just kind of some of the back end work that it needs to do before we can actually get started. And you'll notice that it is open to this README tab. And what I'm going to do very first is open the preview version so that I don't have to stare at the ugly markdown for too long. And so we have written a pretty extensive README for each of the quests and the main repository and each of the different pieces that are at play here. But I do want to just walk through some of these things just so that you are aware of all the different things that are going on and might be able to hit the ground running for this upcoming quest. Now, I highly, highly, highly suggest, it's Wednesday right now, follow along with this stuff before we go live on Thursday night or Friday morning if you're in Europe. I'm sorry about the time difference. Go through this so that you will have a better handle of what's expected and what you'll need to do and a better chance to win some sweet Lumens prizes. So what you might notice is that this looks a lot like VS Code if you've ever used it, and that's because it actually is. It's a web version of VS Code, and it can do almost all the things that your local desktop version can do. Just about any extension that you've got installed in your local installation will work as well. You can change your themes, your color preferences to whatever you like, and you can configure this just the same way that you would a normal VS Code instance. The only difference is that we're using it in a web browser instead of on your local machine, which is pretty cool, I think. And we've used Docker to set up an image, an instance that has all of the tools that you are going to need to complete these quests. And so really quick, we've got another Docker instance running a Futurenet node that can help you write these contracts and deploy them and run them and invoke them on the Stellar Futurenet network. You don't have to spin up a quick start instance or anything like that. Don't worry about Docker. We've already done that for you. We've got a bash terminal here that will get you access to some of the things that you need on Futurenet. And we also have one for running the sandbox contracts. So inside our Futurenet terminal, if we look at the output of Soroban invoke help, we can see that we've got secret key environment variable, the network passphrase environment variable. We've got a few of these things, the RPC endpoint, that are preset so that you don't have to type them on the terminal every single time you're trying to deploy or invoke or any of that. We also have our friend Squirtle, the SQ command line interface, the terminal tool that will be able to get you connected and ready to do all of the things that you need to do between your Gitpod workspace and the Stellar Quest website. So if I type in SQ user, I can see that I'm already logged in. But if I log out and then log back in, it's going to ask me if I want to authenticate my Gitpod account with Discord. Yes, I will choose to open this link, and I'm authorizing Discord to talk to Gitpod. It shows me that all my KYC and tax stuff is all done and ready to go. Let's see what else our SQ tool can do. One of the most important things you need to know when the countdown hits 0 and the next live quest is available, you need to SQ pull. That's going to pull down any new changes, any new quests that are available inside of the upstream repository. So SQ pull will get you all of the things that you need so that you can play the new quests as they're updated. Speaking of playing, if you are ready to jump in and dive into a quest, you need a key pair, right? You need to have your public and your secret key so that you can actually compete in Stellar Quest Live. So we're going to do SQ play, give the index of what quest we want to do. 1. Right now, it's too early. We can't get a key pair because the time has not yet come. It will give us a quest key pair that we'll be required to use to invoke and deploy and do all these smart contract things. Now, I'm going to quickly create an account on the Futurenet just so I can demonstrate it. We'll pretend like this is my quest key. And we have a neat helper command that can fund your accounts with the Futurenet friend bot. I'm going to pass in key and paste the public key, and it will get me those Futurenet lumens from the friend bot. We can go to explore accounts, and we see it's not a 404, it has 10,000 lumens. Exactly what we would expect from friend bot. So let's take a look in our quests directory, and right now we just have a quest 0 hello world. And in it, we have another README that'll describe some of the things that we might see inside these directories, these quest directories. We have a cargo toml file that's specific to this quest. Our source directory has lib and test.rs. All these files are super well documented. We've added comments and context and links to all kinds of different knowledge that will help you as you read and write these contracts in the quests to come. So definitely read through that. We've got a story that we're tracking along with through each of these quests. Every quest is going to have another chapter in this story of B trying to find the golden abacus. It's going to be awesome. But check out these files. Look at these comments, look at these links, and read through some of the documentation to get your head ready to compete. So let's take a look at this very first contract. It's just a real simple hello world contract. You supply a symbol to it and it spits out hello, whatever your symbol was. So let's actually just play with that for a second. And we'll run this in our sandbox right here. You have a sandbox bash, a Futurenet bash. Each of those are tweaked a little bit to work a little differently depending on if you're just doing local sandbox development or if you need to actually interact with the Futurenet. So we're going to cd into our quests directory, hello world. We can actually build this right here. We specify our target is going to be WASM32 and our release profile. And we've already compiled this as part of the pre-build for Gitpod, so it's just a quick finish of the compilation process this time. But what if we test it? It's running our test. We can see what that looks like here, what it's doing. It's creating the contract, invoking it with a symbol of dev. Let's see if we can use Soroban to actually invoke this contract. Soroban invoke. We need to specify our WASM file. It's in the target directory, release profile. It's called Soroban hello world contract.wasm. Let's specify an ID, and I feel lucky today. It's gonna be 7. We're gonna invoke the hello function that lives in our hello world, and it needs a 2 argument. So we're gonna say hello to Elliot, because I'm that vain. And we get back hello Elliot. And we could do the same thing after we deploy it on the Futurenet if we wanted to, all within this Gitpod. And if everything gets just borked beyond repair, you can't figure out how you messed up your Gitpod workspace, just throw it away. Just delete it, create a new one, and you are right back to a level playing field, a fresh start with all those tools and pre-configurations that you need. So that is our Soroban Pioneer Quest. I hope you have a blast playing around with this, tweaking things, breaking things, and figuring out along with us how these quests are going to play out. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for Thursday night. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to see you all there and just to have a blast together. Thank you, and I'll see you there.